So let's take a step back and look at the big picture. We've all seen, in my case, for decades, frustrating and unpredictable IVR systems out there. Um, why is that? And what have some of the challenges been? And why is now a good time to correct these systems? What's changing in the tech industry, the landscape that allows us to really improve CX?
Yeah, for sure. It's a multifaceted approach, really. I mean, so first and foremost, you start with your telecom operator. I mean, they are the
Mm.
ones providing that egress and ingress point into your contact center. So they provide that local number, So say they provide that local number in any of the countries across the world. So say you reach out to BT Global Services or Orange Business Services or any of your global providers that are providing those numbers. Well, they always hand off to a third party, right? So I mean, they don't own that infrastructure, they don't own that last mile when it's outside of their own jurisdiction. So that in itself, that last little bit of a handoff, that can lead to a myriad of issues. I mean, the number could be down. Customers are not even aware of it. Your telecom operator isn't going to tell you your number's down. By the time you find out that your phone number hasn't connected or there's an issue with your phone number, it's normally an irate or frustrated customer that's after contacting you in a different way to let you know that they can't get through to you locally in that country. So that's just one specific area where things can go wrong. You take it a step further, then you get into the IVR. So say your call does connect. All right, that's great. My call has reached an IVR. But what happens if you're getting a French message on an English IVR? Or what happens if you're pressing DTMF1 and you can't navigate beyond? Or what if you're taking a step further and you're using a voice bot, but the voice bot isn't understanding your dialect, your language, and how you're speaking? Being an Irish person, our accents can get a little bit skewed every now and then. So even looking at that at a base level, that's just, I suppose, two aspects of that communication chain. So from the first point where that call is generated, hitting that toll-free number or local number in any of those countries, the voice traversing, getting into the contact center, and then you have a myriad of potential issues because a lot of IVRs, they're human impact, human built, and subjective to human error in a lot of cases, right? Because they may upload a prompt, they might upload the wrong prompt to the wrong IVR with the wrong message, and it's a very simplistic thing to do. And then, obviously, like I've already outlined, I mean, if DTMF isn't working, if speech navigation isn't working, then the customer is sitting at that front end, not able to converse, not able to get to where they want to get to, and that customer journey and that customer experience already is negatively impacted. When we look at the global economy right now, you're looking at circa 7 trillion in terms of the switching economy in the market right now, which is phenomenal. Like, it's absolutely huge when you look at the amount of people that could be coming through to you frustrated, and they're coming to you with an issue and they're trying to get you to resolve that issue. But when they can't get through to you, a lot of companies and a lot of individuals will turn around and go, okay, I've tried once, I've tried twice, now I'm just going to go elsewhere. And that's the switching economy that is more prevalent now than it ever was before, because it's very easy to switch now. There's a lot of options, there's a lot of value out there. And if somebody's not having the ability to have that conversation with you, they're going to have it with somebody else. So the battlefield right now is around customer experience. If you go back a decade, there was no such thing as a customer experience officer, because a lot of the big companies would say, where else are they going to go? It's either us or them. Nowadays, there's so many more options out there that a lot of customers have that viability. They have the capability to be able to switch, and they can do it all online, or they can do it through comms, whatever way they want to do it. So if you're not providing that perfect level of customer experience to a customer right now, you're potentially losing that customer. And it takes 10 times the effort to get that customer back after losing them than it does to retain them in the first instance. That's why the communication chain right now is at its highest level of prevalency, of importance, I guess, to a lot of companies and to a lot of individuals. So that's just one aspect, but the whole landscape is changing. So traditionally it was enter DTMF1, enter DTMF2, so that multi-tone function and just pressing those individual options to get through to an agent. That was one aspect of it. But now the world's evolving so much more. You have your generative AI, you've got your conversational AI, you've got your LLMs, you've got your natural language processing. There's so many different terms being battered around right now. And it's all about improving the customer experience. And like I said, in customer experience has evolved so much over the last decade that these sort of terms never even existed before. So when you start to evolve that into your contact center, and when you start to introduce things like conversational AI, that's at the point where you're taking it a step further. Not many people have gotten to that point yet because there's so much evolution that needs to happen within the contact center space, but it's where everything is going. So when you look at people now, they're happy to engage with chatbots, that takes them a step further. But the reality is when you're in an emergency situation, you don't want to sit there speaking to a chatbot. You want to speak to a person. You want to get through to somebody that can converse with you, that can address your problem in real time. Conversational AI is going to do all of that, but it's not there yet. So when we're testing for a lot of our customers now, we are seeing the migration from DTMF options in the IVR to voice agents. And it's at this point in time, it's at its very simplistic stage because there's a set parameter behind those voice bots and those voice agents. So we'll only accept a certain amount of change, right? But when you start to move towards large language modeling, and if you've got generative AI, and then if you take it a step further, and if you start to move towards things such as machine learning, for example, that's where the environment and the AI environment is actually starting to evolve and grow more. So it becomes more of a self-learning environment at that point. And if you're into a self-learning environment, that's where it's more conversational. So when your IVR is having that conversation, that two-way, that stops customers having to get to an agent because they feel like they're having a direct conversation. So imagine into the future where you can just contact a phone number, contact your supplier, and all you got to say is, I have a problem. And they'll start the conversation from there. Or perhaps they kick off the conversation with, how can I help you today? So it's not a set parameter list. It's an open-end book. And that can be evolving as time goes on, depending on your dialect, depending on your engagement, depending on your tone. The IVR will have that complexity built into the background through conversational AI. But like I said, it's self-evolving, self-growing. But it's not there yet. We're still a good bit away, but it's definitely where the market, I believe, is going.